Good evening and welcome back to our channel. If you're new, welcome, subscribe, like and share so that you can be educated more. My name is Christian Umbrella Prt1. Welcome to the New Church _TV. I want us to look at the 4 reasons why we have 37,820 denominations under the Christian umbrella. The first thing that I want us to look at is Matthew chapter 16 verse 18, because everything must be word based. And it reads as follows: And I say unto you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. So what I wanted you to see that was that Yeshua HaMashiach, the one called Jesus Christ of Nazareth, established a church based on Peter. But I also want us to look at, other authorities as far as the church history is concerned, the fathers of the church. And I want us to look at the Catholic Church, and they have this book called The Fundamentals of the Catholic Dogma, page 274, by Dr. Ludwig Ott. It says, in regards to Matthew 16 verse 18, the Cyprian speaks of, or Saint Cyprian speaks of, the building of Christ, of the Church of Christ, and designates the Church of Christ, and the Bride of Christ. So now we see that indeed Yeshua HaMashiach did establish a church on the foundation of Peter, or the first pastor was Peter, the first apostle in the church was Peter. Now Saint Cyprian speaks to the Romans, or the Catholic fathers, and he says to them in Matthew, speaking about Matthew 16 verse 18, saying, the Church of Christ. So the name of the church was called the Church of Christ because they were talking about the construction and the building of the Church for Christ, to have a building and a church as the church leader or the church founder. And that name of the church was called the Church of Christ. All right. Now, I also want us to look at the second one called, there's a book of the Protestants called Knowing the Doctrine of the Bible by Maya Pellman. And that's what she says. Christ prophesied the establishment of a new congregation or church, a holy institution which will continue his work in the world. So we see that the fathers of the church and the historians of the church, people who studied the church, know that Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, has prophesied about the establishment of his church, a new congregation. But in fact, you'll find that Yeshua HaMashiach did not intend on starting a new religion. All right. So now that we have found out about the Catholics, I want us also to look at another book. I believe I have another book that I want us to look at. And this book is called, I believe I have it here, The Faith of Our Fathers is the book. The source of the book is called, The Faith of Our Fathers, page 328, by James Cardinal Gibbons. I'm sure you have heard of Gibbons. It says, the discipline of the church has been exerted from the beginning in prohibiting priests to marry after their ordination. So the fathers know about this, and I'm going to go back to this source, Faith of Our Fathers, when we go further. I want us now to look at the very 4 reasons why we have now 37,820 denominations under the umbrella of Christianity. Reason number 1 is found in the book of Matthew chapter 24 verse 11, which says, and many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And that is why there are many prophets in South Africa today. False prophets who come to South Africa to begin and start churches, commit crimes, and do all these things that we see in television. But this is what Yeshua HaMashiach, who was talking in the olden days. Now I want us to look at what is happening in South Africa today. We apply to a scripture, and there's the second reason, which is this Acts chapter 20 verse 3. The time will come when some men from your group will tell lies and lead astray believers, leading them to themselves. That is reason number two. So reason number one and number two is that we see that is false prophets which will come from the church and start to lead people astray and draw them to themselves, even though they know the truth. They will deceive people. Reason number three, false prophets appeared in the past. Look at 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 1. False prophets appeared in the past among the people, and in the same way they will appear among you and will bring destructive and untrue doctrine, and will deny the master who redeemed them, so that they will reap upon themselves self and sudden destruction. Right, so 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 1 says that false prophets will come amongst us, the people, and they will come with destructive and untrue doctrine and preach it. That is why you see people eating trees in South Africa, eating frogs, eating dogs, drinking petrol. These are the doctrines that were begun by people, not Yeshua HaMashiach. That is why you guys are saying Bazalon Kamagalatwana and you Lagana Lekreste because Bazalon Kamagalatwana. No, we are not the same. And I'm going to tell you the characteristics of a church that is of Yeshua HaMashiach. The characteristics that I'm talking about here of Batwaujadi Lone and Mablomo and Baunadi Petrol in South Africa, it is not the Church of Christ. It is not the Church of Yeshua HaMashiach. All right. Reason number 4. 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 1 and 3. All right. 1 Timothy chapter 4, and I'm going to read verse 1 and verse 3. Verse 1. But know this, that in the last days perilous times will come. All right, that is 1. Let's go to 3 now. Unloving, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good. These are the people that shall come in the end time. Now I want us to look at the first book of Timothy, and sorry, I went to the second book and I could tell that that was not it. First book of Timothy chapter 4, sorry about that, verse 1. Now the Spirit expressly says that in latter times, some will depart from the faith, giving heed to deceiving spirits and doctrine of demons, speaking hypocrisy, having their own conscience seared with hot iron, forbidding many to marry, and commanding the establishment or commanding the abstain from foods which God created to be received with thanksgiving by those who believe and know the truth. This scripture speaks, I don't mean to talk about other churches in a bad way. Trust me, that's not my aim. The aim is to make you see, to be aware of things. All right, if this message is not for you, you'll not understand it. The Roman Catholic Church has a period called Lent where they forbid people to eat meat. The Catholic Church forbids people from marrying after their ordination. All right, this is reason number 4 why we have so many denominations, because we speak in tongues, you don't speak in tongues. We play instruments in our church, you don't play instruments in our church. We go to church on Sunday, you go to church on Saturday. So many things that makes us divided. Forbidding people to marry after their ordination, forbidding people to eat meat during certain periods of time. And in the Roman Catholic Church is called Lent. Now, the reason why people are forbidden from eating meat in certain periods of time, like Lent with the Roman Catholic Church, is that for the lamentation of Tammuz. And Tammuz is a sun god, the son of Semiramis. You know, it's a false god. It's a sun god. All right, Nimrod and Semiramis had a child called Tammuz. He was eaten by a pig and died and killed in that incident. And that is why Semiramis say during Easter, people will eat pig. But during the 14 days, there is a 14 days where people don't eat meat or are crying for Tammuz. So Lent is equated or synergized with or made whole with Easter or Tammuz, and eating of, pig, because Tammuz was eaten by pigs. His mother said people should eat pig. But in the Roman Catholic Church during Lent, they don't eat meat. And that was a pagan religion where they were crying and lamenting for Tammuz, who was eaten by a pig. So there were 14 days of lamenting. So the Lent is just a pagan religion and festival to worship a false god, the devil, disguised as Tammuz, the reincarnated sun god of Nimrod and Semiramis. So when you forbid people from getting married and from eating meat, which was created by God to be eaten in Thanksgiving, you are actually forbidding people from knowing the truth. So this is the reason why we have so many denominations, to be exact 37,820 denominations under Christian Umbrella. Reason number 1, Matthew chapter 24 verse 11. Reason number 2, Acts chapter 20 verse 3. Reason number 3 is 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 1. And reason number 4 is 1 Timothy, don't do a mistake like me, 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 4 and 3, where it says that many will depart from the faith and come up with doctrines. And. So, all right. So Ruach HaKodesh speaks expressly that in the latter times some will depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrine of devils, forbidding many to marry, and forbidding consumption of meat, all right, which was created by Adonai to be eaten in Thanksgiving, all right. And the source of that book is the book that I told you that I was going to go back to, is the Faith of Our Fathers, page 328, by James Cardinal Gibson. The discipline of the church has been exerted from the beginning in prohibiting priests to marry after their ordination. So the reason why we have Catholics, Protestants, Baptists, and Lutherans, and all these things is because people want to draw people to themselves and to deceive people and to draw people away from God. And that is why we have so many churches. So seek God, the true God. Seek his true name, because his name is not even God. And we're going to teach you about that in later videos. Seek the creator of the heavens and the earth, the true Adonai, the creator and the El Elyon. Seek the one who exists, who causes all other things to exist. Seek to know him and to worship him and not mix Baal with him. Because Christianity is really the mating of paganism, and they mix some of the things from Judaism and they give birth to Christianity. So it still has paganism, Easter, Christmas, and all those things. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and share. My name is Terence Namudiwa Hamloto, aka Pastor T. I love you, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. Shalom. Until next time.